Supporting people. Autistic adults can develop a range of personalised strategies to help them adapt to daily life and manage the demands of a society that isn't naturally designed for them.
It's a bit like being a child when you can't reach the handles. It's like being left-handed in a right-handed world. It's like having expectations placed on you to think in a certain way, to be able to communicate in a subliminal way, for example, through body language and facial expression, tone of voice, when you don't have those abilities. But what you do have is strong logic, strong reasoning, and a good attention to detail. So you may notice things that other people don't bother about, and they may bug you. So, for example, when I get into a lift, which only goes between 2 floors, and it's got a button for the ground floor and a button for the first floor, well, why have 2 buttons? Why not just have a green button you push and it just says go, because it can guess which floor you want to go to. So that's a bit stupid. You spot things like that when you're Aspie. But living in a neurotypical world, people are, in my view, more vain. They care about feelings and communicating rather than facts and what to do. I have a stronger sense of duty, perhaps, than other people may do. I might ponder things that they really don't care about, and not care about things like clothes and fashion, celebrity, football.
It's just the way I'm made. I think I've got good moral compass. I try to be someone in the community that gives something to the community. I like my own company, so obviously maybe that's the ASD. But yes, you have issues with it, but I don't. And to some degrees, it's a disability. But then when I see how other people behave, I'm glad I'm like this, because some of the things people do to each other, I couldn't even think them things up. So, and when people con someone and stitch them up or whatever, all these things that I'm always, even though I've seen it millions of times, it's still, every time someone tells me this, it still shocks me. And the same with my children. Yeah, they're different, but is it such a bad thing? I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be someone else, so I can't really think of it in that respect.
I think that's what's quite different about autism, is you get certain behaviours that probably take more understanding to kind of utilise properly, where to the kind of someone who's neurotypical, you get a lot of things are a lot more, I don't know if it's obvious to them, but their behaviour is less challenging. But with autistic people, you get behaviour, to be able to help yourself, you need to understand it a bit more. So it feels like you need a bit bigger instruction manual. Do you know what I mean?
Coming to assist has been a massive help, and the person I see regular, the mentor I see, has been a massive help. Just talking things through once a month since the beginning of last year now, and I look forward to it, and it's just that feel like you're not on your own. That's the main thing. Someone who understands autism. It's been a massive help, assist at Godalming. And I look forward to coming, and I never miss one session yet, and I never will. Part of the routine, of course, and it's a nice routine because I love Godalming. But yeah, just talking things through, the issues I've had at work, the people that I struggle with.
Asperger's syndrome, what is a syndrome? A syndrome is a collection of symptoms which occur in different combinations of different severities. And you don't have to have all the symptoms to get the diagnosis. With people who've got autistic spectrum conditions, what it is that the bits that are missing are more profound, and the bits that are enhanced are also more profound. So you have more of a polarization between ability and deficit. So you'll tend to find that there are very intelligent and able people who are on the spectrum. And you need to understand that everybody has a different combination of strengths and deficits. And if you just try to put them one place on the spectrum, you're actually talking not about a spectrum, but about a scale.
I remember getting a few distinctions, actually, quite a few of those, and a few merits as well, in the theory work, and then the tests went quite well as well. I had to retake a couple of them, but that was really difficult. I was so stressful, and it would just get really, really hot and everything in the kitchens, and it was that was a real struggle. So and especially with the Asperger's and stuff and things like that, trying to do loads of different things all at once.
The main problem that I would say I had as an autistic was being able to say to the not being diagnosed as autistic, is to be able to say to the mental health professionals, well, this is what is actually going on in my mind to lead me to behave in this particular way. So, if anybody in the mental health profession has a suspicion that somebody's melting down as a result of autism, I'll say, if I were asked the first question, what's causing you very serious stress? That's one question to ask. Because if I was asked, well, why did you try and set fire to yourself? I would have said, well, actually I can't cope anymore with mapping out how human beings, normal human beings or neurotypical human beings, wish me to behave in social situations. Because in retrospect, that's exactly why I melted down. But if you've got an autistic person, especially a high performance one like me, because I've got quite a mind, I've got a good mind, it's no use trying to empathise with that person, certainly not with me. People who say, oh, I can help mentally ill people by getting to know how their minds work, or how their feelings work, or how their personalities work. I would say with a lot of autistic people, that's not going to pan out, especially not the personality bit. Because if you define personality as a coherent history of past emotional events, I haven't got one. And so if you presume that to start with, and you start asking me questions, or try to get to know me, you've already started off the wrong way. So don't do it. The way that I work with people who've helped me is, and also with people who try and understand what I'm about, is to say, right, here's a mind in my own skull, and that's fine. Here's a mind in your skull over there. I know you've got a brain, and I know that I've got a brain, and we can map out the problem together. And so what I do is I put the problem on the table, metaphorically speaking, and say, well, this is somebody called Basil Watkins who's got autism, some interesting features, and Basil Watkins happens to be able to talk about it from an objective point of view. And so I can say, well, this is what the autistic person speaking, seems to be doing or acting or behaving. What do you think about it? Do you think that my analysis is correct, or do you think that I'm showing other symptoms which seem to indicate some more complicated rationale for behaviour? So, the greatest help I've had in dealing with my autistic condition is from people being able to help me do that, to map out the way that my emotions either function or don't function or function badly. So in other words, don't try to talk to me one-to-one, person to person. try to talk to me as if we've got a problem which we can talk about. For example, who's going to win the horse race tomorrow? Let's go through all the trainers. Let's go through the course, what the horse is like, what the other horses are like. Come up with a conclusion. Well, this one is probably worth betting on, right? That works with me. But don't try and say how do you feel? Why do you feel that way? Because the one-to-one side doesn't really work.
When I was suffering and struggling to kind of go outside and just deal with people, when I was getting kind of bursts of adrenaline, just because it felt like a fight or flight situation to me, just being out in public, CBT was really good. It really helped me get through that. It really helped me so much.